One of the most confusing things to watch as a viewer of a series is when a character gets suddenly removed from a show for seemingly no reason. Usually behind the scenes there's always some drama or reason behind the character's removal. Oftentimes because of a controversy the actor has that either gets them fired or forces them to leave. Sometimes the character is just so bad that they need to get rid of them. So let's get into some examples of characters being written off of TV shows. Now, I first started this rabbit hole because I was watching the newest season of the Goldbergs, which I haven't watched in years, just to see how old the actors looked when I heard this.
I'm here to support our mother who lost her life partner.
Hold up, why is the mom single now? Well, it turns out midway through production of season 9 of the show, some things were brought to light that Jeff Garlin, the actor who plays Murray, had lots of accusations of sexual misconduct and generally abusive behavior on set, so he decided to show himself out and leave halfway through the season. In an interview with him, he describes his actions as silly, which I find is very much downplaying what he did. It's always the same thing, Garlin said. It's about me and my silliness. They don't think it's appropriate. I do. That's where we're at. Yeah, sorry for sexually harassing you, but you're just not as silly as me. So the team at the Goldbergs decided that for the rest of the season they would just use random clips and outtakes with some occasional CGI and stand-ins to take its place. And oh my god, it's hilarious. They'll just have an actual scene going on and it will cut to him just sitting in his chair and what they mean by CGI isn't a poorly rendered 3D model like I hoped. They just green screen him into the shot basically. They had to do this because at that point they couldn't just write him out, especially with major events happening on the show like a character getting married, Adam graduating, so they couldn't spare a whole episode just to explain that he was gone. But after that, the writers decided to have a little leap forward in time for their next season, with the story being that Murray suddenly and tragically passed away. And the first episode was about the characters grieving and accepting it. Oh boy. Then the show was abruptly cancelled before it could actually end. A character to suddenly be written off the show was the main character, Roseanne, played by someone also named Roseanne. Okay. This was a popular show in the 80s, and years later they decided to do a reboot featuring the original cast including Roseanne. After filming the first couple of episodes of her in it though, Roseanne Barr said some pretty nasty stuff over at twitter.com, later saying that she was on sleeping pills that causes her to quote-unquote do some weird stuff. Yeah, you think? So the writers decided to give her character a pretty grim fate, being that she overdosed on opioids.
Roseanne OD'd on opioids.
I don't know what else to say. The show did later return under the name The Connors and has been doing good despite the main character being gone. And Roseanne Barr is still doing some weird stuff. A less dramatic example of a character being written off is Troy in Community, played by, of course, the one and only Donald Glover.
Alright, who did a butt?
They're boobs. And I don't know.
There wasn't any drama or anything surrounding his leave, it was just a point where his own career was really taking off, with his comedy and most importantly music career under Childish Gambino doing really well. He just simply wanted to put more time and energy into that part of his career as he wasn't really enjoying doing the show and Community started feeling more like a job and his heart simply wasn't in it anymore. So in season 4 his character left the show, Troy going off on his own path, leaving Greendale College. But this was also around the time the show started going a bit downhill, not feeling bad, just not as good as it was. This wasn't just because of Troy being gone. The show was going through a lot of changes due to it being almost canceled and then brought back on Yahoo. Yeah. Still, Troy was definitely one of the best characters in the show, and not having any Troy and Abed in the morning moments was missed. Do you like that? Do you like that, guys? I thought that would be funny. Luckily though, a Community movie is in the works and he will be returning with the rest of the cast for it. Maybe not Chevy Chase though.
And Chevy Chase once called me, you know what, this is about Paul.
Did you know that Michael Scott on The Office was technically written off the show? Yeah, he actually wanted to stay on the show, but he was getting to the end of the cast members' contracts, and while everyone was negotiating an extension, Steve Carell was never sent any offers by NBC. So he never reached out and let the contract end, his character moving away after finding love. I've never watched The Office before, by the way. It did give the writers more room to let other characters shine, but the show just wasn't the same without Michael Scott. And there was only 2 more seasons after he left.
People have survived far worse.
Thank God you were there.
Yeah.
There's some examples of animated characters being written off too. In Bob's Burgers, Bob's main rival, Jimmy Pesto, was run off due to the voice actor participating in the Capitol riot. Yep. The wife of Ned Flanders, Maud Flanders, on The Simpsons was literally killed off by getting shot with a t-shirt cannon and plummeting to her death because the voice actor demanded a pay raise, wasn't happy with it, and quit. So instead of finding a new voice actor, they just murdered her. Heidi-ho, neighborino. Anyway, that's some examples of characters being written off shows. But it's always a hard thing for writers to get around, and definitely takes some life out of a show if a character is well loved. And there's plenty more examples. Anyway, yes, I'm back, everyone. This whole getting used to this was a whole ordeal. Here's a clip. Anyway, yeah, I'm back. My life was just, 2 last years of high school. Takes up a lot of time. And I really honestly just didn't have the energy to go into YouTube, even though my channel was doing pretty good, to be honest. So yeah, I'm back, and hopefully we'll be uploading consistently. We're going to try doing that and see how well that goes. Yeah, anyways, I know my character has brown hair, and then my first camera appearance, I'm blonde. I bleached my hair. I promise I'm not blonde. I am blonde, just not permanently blonde. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, because there'll be more to come. Anyways, bye.
A narrative waste of patches and light. We